Good Sunday morning and welcome back to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcome into the program. He is a first-timer. He is a comedian and educator. As a matter of fact, had a sold-out show in Sugarland at the Smart Financial Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome comedian Eddy B.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning, G. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me.
Man, thank you for being here. Tell me, how was the show?
Man, it was amazing, man. 4,000 educators or people who are connected with education. You know, getting a chance to unwind and laugh and have a good time and party, and really, like a stress release. In Houston, it was the kickoff to spring break too.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, they got
Perfect timing.
got it started. Yeah, they got it started right on time. So it was a blessing, man. It was real loud in there, packed wall to wall. Sold out. We sold out last year, made history, did it again this year, and on a Tuesday night, it was something special.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And something else special is your book that is out now, the best-selling book, already professionally developed, straight from the teacher's desks.
Yeah,
so you're an educator.
Yeah, man, 13 years in education, man. My last year of teaching was my first year the tour started.
Nice.
So I had to finish teaching that year when the tour started. It was one of the hardest times of my teaching career because I committed to finishing with my kids. I could have just quit and said, hey, I'm on tour. I'm cool now. But no, I finished the semester out with my kids. So that was my last year teaching. It was like 2.5 years ago.
What subject?
I taught science my entire career, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science, man.
Okay.
My last year of teaching, I taught 5th grade math and science. Taught math for the first time. So that was an experience, but God blessed me to do
So
well.
13 years with that, clearly how the curriculum and just how information is given, to you all, like what the school board or the superintendent or the districts, thank you, please, gives you all. How has that? What did that look like? Like, did you start with like, man, I had all of this stuff and we had all these resources and the way to teach these kids was, cool and less stressful versus now where supplies are few and you coming out your own pocket and the curriculum isn't updated or, they want to give a certain, they want you to teach them what they want them to know.
Right.
Can you talk about the span of how education has changed just within your careers of being an educator?
Well, I would say that like since I've been teaching in 13 years, it's been consistently, tough to be in that type of environment as a teacher, period. It's never been a time other than when I was in school. That's when we had corporal punishment and more structure and, I think the values were implemented a little bit more, the moral values, and you had parent support and you had more support from the districts. I don't know what that was about, maybe because things were a little bit more simple. But once they started implementing testing and the numbers, it became a numbers game. And the kids, they stopped being students and became a number. Then the teaching profession, it went down, I believe, because school wasn't fun anymore. They stopped funding after school activities and things that we remember, like music and drama and activities you have after school where you in groups and societies and stuff. Well, if that cost money, when those budget cuts came, they were the first to go. And that was the thing that the students really, we gravitated to back then. So now they got the kids, like the teachers are robotic. The kids are zombies, They play games every day on social media. Everything is technical with them, but they still have them taking a paper, pencil test. Nothing has evolved as far as testing, but they have us teaching like, like you said, like we have to teach the kids to a test, and it's not fun. We have to sneak and be creative, and it's really causing the morale of the teaching profession to go down, and that's something that I really appreciate. God gave me the idea for this book and this tour. The videos that I put out, it kind of relieves some of that. It's like a place where teachers can go to be like, somebody speaks our language. Finally, somebody understands. Like, that's what people don't understand. All teachers want is for somebody to show that they understand. It don't take much to please us. We got it. We know what you want us to do. We get that. But we don't get paid enough, and class sizes are too big, and testing is unfair, and we don't have funding, and the little things that we do have, they take. We have budget cuts, which means that they take schools, and so when you take a school from a neighborhood, you taking tradition and somebody's history, and that's like history books being wiped out.
And not to mention all the systemic things that are in place, like redlining and this I don't give a damn Secretary of Education that we have in
I would
this
say in her defense,
administration.
though, I met with her. She asked for a meeting last year. The tour went to D.C. That's when it was the teachers only tour. And she asked for a meeting, and my representation, they found out. They made sure that it wasn't a publicity stunt first. And once we found out it wasn't, I went to meet with her. And yeah, she's not enlightened at all. But I think she's just passing through. I think what people need to realize is that she was appointed. She wasn't elected. And I believe that hopefully one day, I think education can be reformed or changed or helped if we were able to elect someone who understood education and not appointed by a president who, I'm not here to talk about anybody, but apparently the hire of someone who really doesn't understand education, you're not putting that much emphasis on, your desire to make education grow.
So I'm anxious to know, in that meeting with Secretary DeVos, was she willing to listen? Were there suggestions that were given that she said, oh, well, I'll take a look at that, or this needs to be done, or...
Yeah. Before I went, man, I'm real close to my supporters. I don't call them fans. I call them family because, we bounce off each other. And I told them, hey, I'm going to go have this meeting with, Secretary DeVos. Said anything, I don't want to miss nothing. What do you think I should ask her? And, some of my people are raw, man. They're like, you tell that B what we said. These are teachers now. They're raw, what you really want to say. And then one was like, don't go. It's a setup. They're going to have snipers on the roof.
Shut up.
You're one of our leaders. They're going to try to take you out. And I'm like, no. But, by nature, I'm a black man. So I walked, it's funny, I walked up to the building and I took a peek on the roof just to see, but it was dumb. But it was silly, but I was like, I noticed I did take a peek.
Right.
But when I went in there, one thing I did take from it is that I met her, she gave me a hug, and she took me to the place. She had a little scriber, somebody taking notes. She didn't take notes. So my representation was next to me. Her scribe was right next to her. And she asked me she basically gave me the floor. If you had a magic wand, what would you change about education? And I went in for about 35, 40 minutes as long as she gave me time. And she gave me the occasional head nods like, oh, wow. Like some stuff was enlightening. But I'm pretty sure she's been in education now. She's forced into it. She's heard this before. But now you're hearing this from somebody who has a big following of teachers, and this big tour is setting records and record-breaking numbers. Not only the numbers, but the people who are coming. All races, all ages, different religious backgrounds and socioeconomic statuses and different beliefs and different areas of town. Everybody's coming together. Having a good time on one common cause, which is how education is becoming, it's going downhill, So basically she gave me the head nod. She was listening, it seemed like, but the scriber, she was writing everything down and she was into it like, oh my God, yes, this is good stuff. But I just try to tell my people we can't really give her a hard time because she was appointed. And at least she did ask to take the meeting to kind of be, get some information from someone who she felt like, she deemed to be worthy of getting information from.
Okay. Well, I'll accept that. From brother to brother.
But I wanted to be like everybody else and be like, what you doing up here? Like that. But I'm pretty sure she's getting that everywhere. I mean, it's apparent that she's, out of her element in some aspects. And, they're running education like a business now. She's a businesswoman. And so
they're running the whole entire country like a business
Jesus
now.
is
So
real.
there
Jesus
we
is
go.
real. For
You're
sure.
listening to Access Houston, talking to comedian Eddy B. I'm already professionally developed, straight from the teacher's desk. The bestseller is available right now. Let's talk about the book. Like, what was the inspiration behind this book?
Well, I was people like, you need to, my people were like, if you wrote a book, I promise you, when your book coming out? I'm like, okay, I write a book. And so I've never been into writing like that, you know, but I thought it was like, you know, I'm thinking old school, sit somewhere quiet or go get a cabin for a week
And
get
sit
an old school typewriter. That's what I was thinking. And then I'm like, man, that's new age. So I'm like, I'm on my
You can
phone.
speak it.
I tried that too. I downloaded apps to speak, and then, you know, my voice is raspy, so the app wouldn't get all my words right. I'm like, this is frustrating. So I would have thoughts and things that I want to talk about. So I'm like, I be on my phone all the time. Let me go on my notes.
Yeah.
So I put book in my notes, and every time I get a chapter, I think of something, you know, God bless me with an idea, recall something in teaching, I boom, type it down. I mean, I wrote this book in like a month and a half. And this is on tour. I wrote it while I was on tour. I'm writing it on planes and in restrooms.
And you wrote it, no co-author, no?
No co-author, no co-author.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I went through a company
nice
that
size font.
They help revise my chapters as I wrote them. I sent it to this company, and they, you know, went through it and, you know, took out words, stuff like that. But I wrote the book. Yeah,
nice.
And I got personal in the book. You know, I talked about my dad, and I talked about, you know, me being a single father and raising my son, all while doing all this stuff, you know, teaching and comedy at the same time, and all the way up until the videos hit, you know. And so it was a struggle, but it's all tied into how human a teacher really is.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've gotten inboxes and DMs and.
Well, first of all, let's just, you know, state the obvious. You all are the most important people in a child's life. I mean, you spend majority of your day with that child as
More
the child spends
sometimes.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And you know, the pay that you all get is criminal.
Yeah, it's criminal. I believe that.
And just thank you for wanting to be an educator, because you know, black male too. Oh, you did not want to. Well,
but the fact that
you did it though, and you were an example.
Once I'm in it, it's something about it. Once you get in it, you'll find why educators educate. It's certain days that you'll get love. You'll get that little occasional little bitty hug from a little kid, the innocent, and they look up to you. You'll get that. All the days that we stress, it's once, like when we teach something, the kid gets it, and they're able to give it to you or respond well, or they started here on a third grade level reading. This in sixth grade, they third grade level reading, but you got them to a fourth grade level by the time the year is out. That's success, but the district don't deem that as success. That's failure. Because the district wants you to get them to a certain point at a certain time,
so they can take this test, so we can have these numbers, so we can get whatever it is that we need to get.
Exactly. So you'll find something you love about it, and it's not about the pay. It's not about the districts. It's not about administration. It's all about your relationship with the kids and the information that you're able to get.
I also learned that it drives you to drink. I know a couple of friends who did not drink before, or they were at least social drinkers, and then once they became an educator, it's like, hey, I'm going to happy hour. I need a drink. I'm like, dang, like, slow down, bro. Like, what is going on? These kids, you don't understand. Like, can it be like that? But, you know, I don't spend as much time as you all do, but, you know, I can imagine that it can be quite overwhelming, and that, you're going to need that shot of Douce every now and then.
Yes.
Teachers, the books is available. Like, what do you want teachers to get out of your book?
Well,
since you wrote it for them.
Yeah, well, it's for teachers. It's for leadership too. I have chapters in there about leadership, but what good leadership looks like. Every new teacher should get it. Any teacher who's been in the game, and just your voice, everything you see on my videos is coming out in that book. I kind of generalized some stuff too. It's a real short read, like 93 pages. You can knock this out. Okay. You can knock this out in a couple of your conference periods, man. I have schools that have ordered it for their teachers, so they're buying in bulk to give to their teachers as reads and little small reading groups that they're adding it to. It's a #1 bestseller on Amazon Kindle. Amazon Prime. It's new bestseller. You can go to my website, eddybcomedy.com, and get it as well. But teachers are really just pick it up, and I guarantee you, from the forward to the last remarks, you won't be able to put it down until you finish. It relates to everything we go through on all levels. Any subject, as a person, as a family man or woman, a wife or a husband, a daughter or a son, somebody who's just starting to somebody who's retired for like 20 years. It all relates. And it's speaking what we really want to say and can't say, because, we don't want to rock the boat, and we kind of want to keep our little jobs.
Yeah. Well, pick it up. It's available everywhere, Amazon or wherever you buy books. Eddie B, I'm already professionally developed straight from the teacher's desk. Bro, cool. Thank you for coming on the program. Congratulations on that sold-out show at Smart Financial. Thanks. And, man, come back when you're in the H, man. I would love
here, man.
Make it a regular thing. Ooh, even have you on a round table. I do a political round table.
Today, I didn't say, I have a sitcom coming out on ABC.
Okay.
I already signed the holding deal, so that's happening. Matter of fact, at 2 o'clock, that's why we got to leave here. At 2, I have the Skype call with the new writers that they found. It's going to be the first teacher sitcom starring a real teacher, talking about real teacher issues. So,
looking at, we going
definitely got to come back.
Definitely got to come back.
Sure.
Not even on this show. We had you on the Mad Hatter Morning Show. Had you on Candy Eastman, all of that. That's what's up. H-Town's on.
South Park, man.
Hey, South Park in the middle. Hey, so Houston's on. Eddie B, man.
Good.
Thank you so much, Bree.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming first timer to the program. He is the managing director for Hands Up for Youth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Albert Roy Tibbs Jr. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Smooth. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad that you can come on such notice, because I had one more slot open on the program this morning, so this was right on time. So shout out to my man Iggy Pop for shooting me the text about you wanting to come on or seeing if I had room on the program for next week. I said I actually have some for this week, so I'm glad that you could make it.
Well, we're excited. We know that God answers prayer.
Indeed. So Hands Up for Youth. Tell us about the organization and the team and how it was started.
Well, Hands Up for Youth is not new. It started back in 2004 in Fort Bend County to reach out to young people through sports and summer camps, hiring seniors, college students to train them in leadership.
Oh, nice.
Overseeing middle school, high school students in the youth activities. It blossomed from there through to New York and now back to Houston. HUFY is a united team of community leaders who come together for one sole purpose: to empower young people to influence their future and the world through sports and education. We focus on a core belief goal that if God is in the mix, family, youth, sports, and community, you have a dynamic combination. We undergird that with a purpose. Our purpose to empower, equip, and support youth through education and sports. A unique way, providing education academy for gifted young people who are interested in sports, as well as providing for our young athletes. This is important and a salient piece of this project. Providing sports medicine training, entrepreneur training for business. A lot of our young athletes don't know how to manage their own affairs. So we want to equip our young people to be their own financial analysts as they're developing their gifts, not only sports, but also finances.
Yeah.
And then broadcasting, train them in sports broadcasting, how to project themselves publicly. We don't want our young people having great gifts, but no academia to speak their vision and goals.
Yeah. Indeed. I like that. First of all, that youth training and just the hands-on experience, and especially the financial component of it, because when I look at these big universities and colleges that use our men of color to help them make millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they can barely eat. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
it's tragic in that sense that they're still using our bodies for profit and we get nothing. But the fact that you are educating these kids to know what to look for and to think for themselves, I love that. I love that. This was all birth. Why did you all feel that it was important to combine all of these dynamics?
Well, as you just emphasized, the need is glaring. We see it everywhere. But this year, lit the torch to start this march of the campaign we're on now. There's a group led by a young man in the community of Sunnyside, which is called Quincy Evans. He's been doing this for years, almost 19 years. He puts together a team. It's called New Star Texans. And it's a Pop Warner group, ages 9 through 10, and then 11 to 12 or 13. But the group of 9 to 10 is unique this year. They win every year. They play both ways, defense and offense. They don't have enough to play. They rat-a-tat, two-up uniform.
Oh, shut up.
And they play all of these teams.
They sound amazing, by the way.
They play these teams that have these huge players coming from all over the Texas area. I want you to hear this now. And they have defense and offense. And they literally beat them down.
You cut it
3
out.
years straight they won, and every year they're denied to go to the championship.
Mr. Tibbs.
They won't allow these children to honor their achievement. They're traveling way on the north further end of Houston, all the way to Baytown, sometimes to Beaumont, Port Arthur, all these regions, and beating these teams. But they find an excuse. Well, the birth certificate, well, this is wrong. Consistently. So we said, wait a minute. This is Sunnyside. Right? This is central southwest Houston. On the corner in this community, there is a 14-acre of land that is about to go into disparity, to say it nicely. And so we say, look, why can't we build our own facilities for our own children and our own families right here, right now? So that our children will no longer be insulted, put down because of their giftedness, and challenged because they're putting in the work and producing, but not being allowed to achieve in the final goal. So we started this campaign, a kids challenge, $6 million in 30 days. Someone said, that's ridiculous. But there are more than 6 million people in Texas. There are 1 billion people one day on Facebook. So you're telling me that 6 million people in that network can't give $1?
$1?
Can't lift a hand up for one youth for $1? That's all they're asking. So the kids is posting a challenge. Help us, help ourselves. Raise your hand up, lift your hand up for youth. Just give $1. Well, what if I want to do more? Be generous. Fantastic.
Right.
So these young people rallied. They're out in the streets, beating the drums, championing the cause again for themselves. And we don't want them by making their own effort of entrepreneurial pursuit. Because this is their first entrepreneurial test in a market that needs them and they need the market.
You're listening to Access Houston. We're talking to Albert Roy Tibbs Jr., the managing director of Hands Up for Youth. The acronym is HUFY. I love that,
HUFY.
by the way. Who was that?
HUFY.
HUFY. Excuse me, HUFY. Man, you just telling me about that team. I just all kind of things just running through my head. Like, A, what a disservice. B, no, wait. A, how incredibly talented they are to be
Absolutely
switching on each side, playing both sides and beating these teams. Like, I just thought of, there's got to be some sort of documentary on these young boys. Like, they have to be, the world needs to know about them.
I agree.
Absolutely. And so now we are raising funds for these boys because they keep getting denied of reaching the highest level. And and Mr. Tibbs, and what are these excuses again as to why these boys cannot compete once they get to that certain level? What is the
the first position is it's impossible for someone to do that.
Right. Of course.
Secondly is let's check to make sure their birth certificates are right. They even stop games to check this.
Wait. Are you telling me To check their birth certificates for what?
To make sure they're the right age. They can't believe their performance. And these are not big kids. So it's not abnormal. You're not looking at someone who's 6'2" playing in this position. You're looking at these little guys who are their normal age position, but they just cannot believe the performance. Then they discover, oh, well, there's a portion you need to pay more. The coach's response, we'll pay the money, just let our children play. Well, we don't think so. These are realities. I've checked it. It's true. My grandsons played this year.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in town. I come in on the scene and discover this thing and say, this is not right.
This is fascinating. I mean, all right, so that inclines us to even go harder just for that. So, Mr. Tibbs, where can people go? Is there a website, or how do people donate to HUFY so we can make it do what it do for these kids?
You can go to HUFY.org. Okay. It has the registration for the tournament. It has donation sites. It has a GoFundMe page. Has all the information there. Here's a good tool. Someone says, I want to support, but I want to support with my gifts. Mm-hmm. Well, we're launching starting next Saturday at 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. a 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Okay, that's Saturday. What's the date on that? That's Saturday.
Saturday is the 30th, March 30th.
Okay. 9
a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
We're trying to recruit at least 32 teams on each side, adult and youth.
Okay.
Adult grand prize is $5,000. Youth grand prize is $2,500. Okay. You go online, register. An adult team is a team of 4, 3 playing, 1 alternate. $300. They split that between 4 people. You in the tournament.
Wow.
Youth is $125. Split it between 3 players, alternate.
There you go.
And you on the field playing.
Wow. And that is HUFY.org, HUFY.org, so you can donate and learn more information about Hands Up for Youth. Wow, I'm literally mind blown. I just and I just keep thinking about, man, just how incredibly dope we are as Black people. I mean, first of all, like that. That's the main thing that was coming. I'm like, gee, they playing offense and defense and winning and going to the top. Winning so big, so much that they are even denied to play in the tournaments and whatnot. That is the championships. That is just y'all can stay mad though. Just stay mad because we gonna get it done. Mr. Tibbs, oh man, thank you for coming on the program. Houston, stand up. Let's do it. HUFY.org, HUFY.org. Let's raise the money for these boys and show them that we are H-Town strong. They really need a documentary. Like this is a story. Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking like the Netflix numbers on the views of this documentary would be crazy. This is wild. This is wild. Wow. Oh, wow. We're going to have to come. We have to have you all back on when you having bring some of the boys up here. And
we'd be glad to do it.
And talk, because I want to know how that felt for them as a child. Like, because I can only imagine just being an adult. And knowing that you're achieving a certain thing and then you just hitting this plateau and it's like, for why? And you keep coming with these lame excuses as to why. It's all because you're threatened by my talent or my ability, I mean, but we can't help that we are literally walking magic. We can't help that. We can't help it. We can't. Mr. Albert Roy Tibbs Jr., Managing Director of HUFY. So thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us, Smooth.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston. Access Houston.